Well, it's Mondays, as you know, it's the most boring day starting off the week. But however, here in DWZ, we changed all that to give you guys some of the amazing reviews we can get from some of the best wrestling promotions we can find. But right now, we have 5 events from 4 different promotions. The first one's going to be Deadlock Pro Wrestling with Carolina Classics, where we're going to see who's going to win a tournament to face off for the DPW World Title. And of course, several awesome matches that took place. We even got Joshi Pro Wrestling for City Circuit Autumn, where they go to the hometown of none other than Arisu Endo for a homecoming. We also got 2 events coming from GCW with, of course, Drop Dead that took place on the 22nd and Moment of Clarity on the 23rd of October. And of course, we finish it off with, of course, AEW Dark Elevation. And also, we got some news updates to spread what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So let's begin with the latest Deadlock Pro Wrestling or DPW Carolina Classic 2022. This took place recently on the 15th of October. Now they had this new tournament called the Carolina Classic, where we have 4 matches, and whoever wins all 4 matches will be in a 4-way match to win a trophy and will guarantee a spot to challenge Bojack for the world title in December for the first year anniversary show. Now let's go with those matches right now. Our first match we have Andrew Everett taking on Shun Skywalker. Now they were supposed to have a match a while back, but as you know, there was supposed to be a tag team match. Everett was supposed to team up with Jack Evans to take on Z-Brats, mostly from Shun Skywalker and SB Kento. That did not happen. But this match was so pretty cool. I liked how Andrew Everett, who's being the giant, tried everything in his power to defeat Shun Skywalker, but it was an amazing moonsault that was able to seal the deal for Andrew Everett and advances to the finals. Now, our next match we have BK Westbrook, who is a cocky SOB who claims the spotlight needs to be on him, but he's facing a guy who has been on the spotlight in Dragon Gate, and we're talking about SB Kento. Now, you know how this is going to be, but the best part is I don't think BK Westbrook had no clue what he was getting himself to because he got low blowed by SB Kento, and then of course a somewhat of a fisherman buster put him out of action, and of course SB Kento advances, which was cool. Now this next match we have Lucky Ali versus Yuya Umura. Now Lucky Ali is the one person that's been telling the story how he feels this is his time. He feels that no one's going to stop him to achieve the one goal. He attacked Bojack before because he wants a piece of that title, but this time he has to go through this tournament, so he has to go through Yuya Umura. But it was the Grim Light, which is like a sort of lariat type match maneuver that sealed the deal with him to defeat Yuya Umura. And then of course our last match we have Mike Bailey taking on Colby Carino. I thought this match was also going to be cool, but in fact it was Mike Bailey with the Ultimo weapon that sealed the deal for him to move on in the finals. Now we're done with that, so let's move on with some other regular matches. We have Janai Kai teaming up with Hyan to take on, of course, Sumi Sakai and everybody's jungle girl, Jungle Kiona. I thought this match was really amazing because I know that Joe Kiona and Janai Kai had challenged before, but this time it's in a tag team setting. But it was Jungle Kiona with a muscle bust with a hammer throw power bomb onto Janai Kai to seal the deal to have her team to pick up a good win. So I love that. Our next match we have Alec Price versus La Estrella versus Yo-Yo, a three-way match. Now Alec Price has always shown that this is his time, that he is the top star and he has to prove it. However, he had to deal with that with none other than Yo-Yo, but he also burned bridges with the referee, feeling that every time he feels that he has everything under control, they keep telling him no, it's two. But he decided to take matters in his own hands and decided to gotch pile drive Yoya to win the match. But however, he disrespected the referee, feeling that the ref did not make the right call sooner. Next up, we have Ami Sakura versus Mei Shruga. This is the case of student versus teacher. As you know, Ami Sakura has always been trying to prove that she's far more better and far more advanced than her students, but her students over the years have grown up in their own way and developed new ways to win, new techniques, new things that could help them. But now it's like Amy Sakura is trying to do that for herself, and no better way to do that with Mei Struga. But of course, that ended with the ice driver by Amy Sakura to win. And then as soon as the match was over, Mei Struga tried to shake her hand to show respect, but Amy Sakura did not have any compel, so she left her right there. Next up, we got Jay Malachi, Diego Hill, and LeBron Cozone taking on Donnie Ray, uh, what's his name? Mason Miles, and Bojack. I thought this match was awesome, with some great spots taking it, mostly coming from Diego Hill, Mason Miles. I thought it was awesome, but however, it was the combination of the wheelbarrow DDT onto Malachi that sealed the deal for Team Bojack that ended right there. I thought it was great. I loved it. Now our main event is the Carolina Classic Finals. It became a four-way elimination match where we have Lucky Ali versus SB Kento versus Mike Bailey versus Andrew Everett. Now I'm going to go who's got eliminated first. Andrew Everett got eliminated by Lucky Ali. The Giant is gone, and then of course SB Kento um, was eliminated by Mike Bailey. And I think the great moments are Lucky Ali and Mike Bailey. As you know, Lucky Ali felt it's his time that he has to shine to get to the top, even though he's burned bridges with everyone. But he did that, and he put the grime line onto Mike Bailey not once but twice in order to win, and that's exactly what happened. So Lucky Ali is the winner, and now he has his sights set for the DPW World Title in December. So we'll see what happens then. Hopefully, I get the chance to see it. But right now, let's keep on moving on with the next review: Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Okay, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling with City Circuit Autumn. This is Arisu Endo's homecoming. They go to Aizu Matsu at the Fukushima region. Um, this is where, of course, where Risu Endo is. She gets her big homecoming, but we'll get to that in the end. It opened up with Kaya Toribami taking on Yuki Inoi. I thought this match was going to be a little quicker since I know Yuki Inoi has been doing pretty well as a singles competitor. Uh, Kaya Toribami, she rarely wins her matches, but she does improve little by little. But it was, of course, an inverted DDT by Yuki Inoi onto Kaya Toribami to pick up the W. Next up, we got Free Wi-Fi. Now Kakuta and Ikari Noah taking on Mahito Kiru and Maki Ito. Now, I've always didn't like how Free Wi-Fi was going to win in this matter because, you know, Maki Ito has been working with many partners over time. I know that Mahito Kiru normally likes to team up with Yuki Kamifuku, but however, Maki teams up mostly with Yashita, no, with Miyu Yamashita, but it did not do any well because, in fact, it was Hikari Noa who applied the Blizzard suplex onto Mahiro Kiru to pick up the W. Next up, we got a three-way Haruna Neko versus Yuki Kamifuku versus Happy Masao. Now, Masao, as you know, she has been an expert in three-way matches, but in this case, it did not. There have been many cases where we've seen Happy Masao win, but no, it was, of course, what's her name? Yuki Kamifuku who picked up the win with the famouser onto excuse me, Haruna Neko that gave her the win. Next up, we have, I think, the most funnest match. We have Raku taking on Rika Tatsumi. Now, Rocky once again decided to sleep. Now, Rika doesn't know what to make of it because, Raku, she likes to play games, and that's always been her jam. But Rika Tatsumi had no clue what to do, but she tried to do what she can, but it didn't work. But in the end, it was, of course, the Dragon Sleeper by Rika Tatsumi that allowed her to win the match onto Raku. Now, next up, we have more tag team action. Moka Miyamoto teaming up with Big Kaiju Shoko Nakajima to take on Pam Harajuku and, of course, our current and new International Princess Champion Miyu Watanabe. As you know, I've always been impressed with Miyu Watanabe all the time. But however, it was, of course, you probably would have assumed that somehow Miyu Watanabe won because she is now at the top of the food chain as a champion. But no, not this time. It was Nakajima with a somewhat of a bridge onto a bridge suplex onto, of course, Palm Juku that picked up the win for her. So that was good. Now, before anything proceed, they called out Arisu Endo. She got one of her bouquet flowers. This was her homecoming. I thought it was great that many people were there to see her, including possibly friends and family, since she's from that very region in Fukushima. And it was great. And not to mention her hometown is there. Now she teams up once again with her Daisy Monkey tag team partner, Suzumi, to take on the magical Sugar Rabbits, Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki. Now that match was pretty good. Now you probably would have assumed in the back of your heads that, Daisy Monkey would have won since this Arisu Endo's home. I would have agreed with you. But no, it was of course Yuka Sakazaki that picked up the win onto Arisu Endo picking up the win by pinfall. So that's how that's how it ends right there. So kind of interesting how that went, but it was good. I like the match. It was good. The some I like how this was Arisu Endo's home, so nothing wrong. So I think that's pretty much it. So let's move on with GCW. Okay, GCW Drop Dead took place on the 22nd of October. Opened up with Jordan Oliver taking on this wrestler straight up from South Korea named Shiho Hong. Never heard of him. But I have to say it was a pretty good, impressive match for a good opener. But however, this ended in favor of Jordan Oliver with his infamous cloud cutter. So that gave him a good victory. But like I said, I don't know who this guy is, Shiho Hong. I know that wrestling exists down in South Korea. I wouldn't be surprised anyway. But yeah. Next match we have Ratty Daddy Cole Radrick taking on All Hard Blake Christian. I thought this match was good. I enjoyed every moment with Blake Christian, how he does things completely. I'm just blown away. But however, it was the 450 splash by Blake Christian that allowed him to seal the deal to win the match. Next up, we got a four-way match: Nick Wayne versus ASF versus Commander versus Gringo Loco. Now, these scramble 4-way scramble matches. You know how this is gonna play. Um, Anything can go. But however, it was of course Nick Wayne with the Cloud Cutter onto ASF that picked up the win. So I thought it was a pretty good one. So it was a good one to watch. Next up, we got Jonathan Gresham, the Foundation, taking on Dragon Gate member Yamato. I thought it was a good match because Yamato's a veteran in the game, but I think to Yamato's surprise that he couldn't believe he lost to Jonathan Gresham. As you know, he pulled off the bridge, which is a same kind of move we've seen with Zack Sabre Jr., but he picked up the win in that way. Next up, we got a very interesting tag team match. We have MM3 teaming up with Chase Burnett, or as we call him, Uncle Chase, taking on Bussy, Alley Catch, and Effie. Now, you know that Chase Burnett, he's an old guy who takes it slow. He even walks on the cane, but he tries to use the cane to get in his way, but no. Um, it was, of course, MM3 who ended up in the wrong side of a super Zack Ryder, where, of course, Alley has um, MM3 on her shoulders, while Effie is on top of the corner buckle, and boom, Super Zack Ryder right there. It's over, seal the deal, and Chase Burnett slow as hell. Now, our next two matches are death matches. We have Shane Mercer versus Tommy Vendetta. Now, this is a bloody murder death match, however you want to call it. But it was, of course, Shane Mercer with the moonsault carrying of Tommy Vendetta that actually gave him the win. You know, Shane Mercer, he is a freaking monster. He's calling himself the Iron Beast for a specific reason, people. But that's what it is. Now, our next match, we have Jimmy Lloyd versus Hoodfoot. Hoodfoot, on the other hand, you guys know he bleeds every single time. He is one tough SOB. You probably would have assumed that that's how it's going to end. But Jimmy Lloyd tried to put him out as much as possible, bled him out much. But no, Hoodfoot did not give up, but he was able to pick up the pin onto Jimmy Lloyd. 1, 2, 3, it's over. Now, our next match is a three-way for the GCW Tag Team titles. We have Los Macizos, consistent of Ciclope and Miedo Extremo, taking on second gear crew Matthew Justice and Mans Warner versus the champions, the Mega Bastards, John Wayne Murdoch and Alex Colon. Now, keep in mind, things could go wrong in this particular match. I mean, the Mega Bastards don't have to beat Spin, but it kind of did in some ways because it was a straight up cutter by Miedo Extremo to Alex Colon that sealed the deal right there, and it was over from the moment it happened. So that means the Mega Bastards are no longer the tap champions, and I thought it was a great match. So it was great. I loved it. Let's see what, as you know, last time we did see Los Macizos took the belts back to Mexico, but hopefully it's not the case again. Hopefully we see them more often. I think that's pretty much it. So let's move on to the next show by GCW. I believe it's called Moment of Clarity. Okay, GCW Moment of Clarity. This took place on the 23rd. Open up with Alex Price versus SB Kento. Now, this is a very good match. I think this was a good opener. Alex Price has been one of those wrestlers that really impressive. I like it how he has that attitude, like I don't give a damn. But SB Kento, who's a bit of the cocky guy, however, who's going to walk out of this one? But I was a bit surprised that it was Alec Price to walk out the victor when he applied the surprise kick right into the freaking temple of SB Kento. 1, 2, 3, he gets the W. Next up, we got Shane Mercer taking on Commander. Now, I don't know how Commander will deal with the Iron Beast. This guy's a real beast. You know what Mercer can do. He is a freaking monster. But the one thing that his main weapon is putting that moonsault, as he calls it, uh, the assault battery, but it did not. Apparently, somehow Commander was able to reverse it. Now, if you guys don't know what the assault battery is, he has the guy on his shoulders like this, crossbody, then he jumps to a moonsault. But somehow Commander reversed it when he did that, and bam, 1, 2, 3, done. I'm like, wow, Commander's awesome. Next up, we got a very unique tag team match. Now, this is a day after. Is Nick Wayne and Jordan Lawler taking on the Mega Bastards, Cologne and Murdoch. Now, the real question is, how are these guys going to be now that they're no longer our current GCW tag teams? That is the key thing. Now, I was a bit surprised with how Wayne and Oliver were able to pick up a good solid with a double cutter onto Alex Cologne. But however, things may be going trouble for the Mega Bastards. It looks like maybe Murdoch is not too pleased with the loss. I don't know, but could this be the end? I don't know. We will see until the upcoming weeks what takes place. Next up, we got the ladies' action. We got Billy Starks versus Ali Catch. Now, this is one of those good matches. People were enjoying this match. I think this is a good match for women's, because we hardly get to see a lot of women involved in these type of matches. But it was Ali Catch with a pile driver that sealed the deal for her to pick up the W onto Billy Starks. Next up, we got the GCW tag team titles. ASF and Gringo Loco taking on Los Macizos Ciclope and Miedo Extremo. Now, you probably could guess this match is going to go off the charts. It did. I was like surprised how things were going to go, but it was, of course, a frog splash by Ciclope that sealed the deal onto him when he pinned ASF, and it was over right from there. Next up, we got Blake Christian taking on Yamato. I think this match was also a good classic one between Yamato and Blake Christian. As you know, Blake Christian has always faced the toughest competitors, but it was the Frankensteiner by Yamato that sealed the deal for him to pick up the win against Blake Christian. So that's how it ends. Now we get a very interesting six-man tag team match. We have Team Unsanctioned Pro consisting of Aaron Williams, Lord Crew teaming up with Jeffrey John, taking on Second Gear Crew involving Effie, Matthew Justice, and Mance Warner. I like how now when it comes to the Second Gear Crew, these guys are all about no prisoners, taking out all the toys they can find, and I think that sets it well. But however, they did set up um, Effie to do the Super Zack Ryder, and it was onto Jeffrey John. Uno, dos, tres. It's over. So they pick up a good win. Now, next up, we got a four-way match. We have Cole Radrick versus Anakin Murphy versus Christian Robinson versus Jimmy Lloyd. This match, anything could happen in these types with four ways. But however, it was Cole Radrick who picked up the win by pinning Christian Robinson, and it was great. I think it was a good match, but let's see what happens in the. We have, of course, Mike Bailey versus Jonathan Gresham. I thought this match was a banger because I was impressed. Mike Bailey, expert martial arts. You have Jonathan Gresham, pure wrestling. What's the best you can have? But wow, I thought it was great. Of course, Mike Bailey thought he had everything with, of course, the Ultimate Weapon and the Flamenco Driver, but no, it was Jonathan Gresham with a figure four that he decided to use in order to put applied pressure onto um, Mike Bailey to tap out, and I thought it was a great way to end it. So, yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. What we have for GCW. I believe it's time for AEW Dark Elevation. Okay, AEW Dark Elevation opened up with 10 along with Evil Uno to take on Baron Black, but once again, that weasel Jose, the assistant, is watching on, once again claiming that, 10 needs to remove his mask and join La Facción Ingornatma now. Ten has been trying to tell him he is not interested. But of course, as always, impressive as Ten has been, he applied the infamous lariat onto Baron Black. Uno, dos, tres, over. Right from there. Now, our next match, we have Eddie Kingston and Ortiz taking on Russ Myers and T Money. Now, it was, of course, Ortiz who picked up the win with the Fisherman Buster. But, however, no, with the Frankensteiner, but it was in fact, but however, Kingston went at it again, decided to attack, of course, both competitors. Once again, he's going out of control. This is something that Ortiz has tried to warn him that he needs to control himself. Looks like he's not. Even referees tried to stop him, but yeah. Now, our next match, we have Serena Deeb versus Haley J. You probably can guess this one ended with the Serenity Lock right away. That's always been the case with Serena Deeb. Next up, we got the Workhorsemen, JD Drake and Anthony Henry taking on the Blondes, Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison. I thought this match was also good. I liked this match. It was amazing because, as you know, the Blondes had to change up everything about themselves since Stokey Hathaway took the trademark varsity off their name, and that's pretty much how it goes. So we'll see what takes place, but it was, of course, a impressive victory by Brian Pillman pinning Drake. What a good win. Next up, we have Mei Sugar and Emi Sakura taking on uh, Jay Lee and Nikki Victory. But however, it was, of course, the moonsault by Emi Sakura onto Nikki Victory that sealed the deal to pick up a good, solid win. Next up, we got Matt Hardy versus Lord Krupp, but once again, he's getting ahead by that idiot Ethan Page and all this. So they told him he actually won, but apparently things are not going well for him with the firm trying to interfere in what they want him to do. But yes. Now, our next match, we have QT Marshall versus Claudio Castagnoli. You know that this match is going to end in favor of Claudio because he is a beast. He's a monster. Marshall QT had no clue what he was getting himself into, but that's how it is. But it was, of course, the Recchio bomb that sealed the deal for Claudio to pick up the win. So I think that's pretty much it with AEW Dark Elevation. I believe it's time for news updates. Okay, you may have heard the news recently about Laredo Kid. He ended up going into an emergency surgery. Apparently, something happened. So this is a statement that was made. I think this one. I don't know how where to start with this news. Yesterday, unfortunately, um, Little Kid had to be taken to the ambulance to the hospital after finishing a fight for the championship in Monterey. He had to undergo early morning emergency surgery. Gad, a while ago, was unaware and aware of his situation to alert his family, closest friends. Hopefully, in the next few hours, days with situation improves, becomes stable. Fans, promoter, friends, family, colleagues of Laredo, and I will try to keep up the messages and reply most promoters' events dates schedule following months. Due to severity of what happened to recovery time is not yet known. Any questions or comments will be answered on messages, emails, but for the time being, avoid calls. Thank you very much, Tarus, Roberto, Abraham, George, and Triple A for being there all morning to my closest heart. Send your good vibes and prayers and energy so I can return, get out of this. So this is Laredo's statement. As you know, he went to surgery, but this is what Triple H's statement. They had him paid. At the end of our championship showcase event on the 23rd, Laredo Kid was attended by medical personnel. After multiple abdomen disturbance afterwards, he was transferred near the nearby hospital for revision and diagnostics. At midnight on Monday, the 24th, he went through surgery with a positive result. At the moment, he is stable, is under the medical supervision They keep improving updates according to the medical reports. So basically, Laredo Kid will be missing out many events, but we'll see what happens then. So prayers to Laredo Kid for a speedy recovery. Now, GCW stuff. Uh, this was announced for their upcoming event on the 29th. Hit them up. We have Tail Valkyrie taking on Alley Catch. I think that's going to be a good match. Now, this was told that GCW will be turning for pops in St. Louis on the 3rd of December. The event is now called Waste of Time. Now, there's still no additional information on who's going to be there or anything else, so that'll be to be determined. Now, speaking of JCW, as you know, JCW owns JCW or Jersey Championship Wrestling. They have announced for the return of the J Cup tournament for next year. It will be starting on the 11th of February. So I think it's going to be interesting to see this type of tournament. Now, RevPro is announced for the upcoming event in December for Uprising 2022. Tomo Hiroishi returns to RevPro, and I can't wait to see what he does. DPW strong for their upcoming event on the 21st of November, World Strong. We're gonna have a interesting match, Sumi Sakai and Hayan. That's gonna be a good match. DDT as announced for their annual New Year's Eve event at Korakuen Hall with other promotions such as DDT, Big Japan Pro Wrestling, and special guest wrestlers. I've seen this one before. I thought it was pretty good, but we'll see what happens then. And then finally, this is a very interesting one. MLW announced that Davey Boy Smith Jr. and his cousins Thomas and Mark Billington will be part of a collective known as the Billington Bulldogs. So they're there to win gold and bring in glory. So I'm excited to see Harry Smith with his family. I can't wait to see what else they're going to do. So I think that's pretty much it. What we have. I think it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have Tuesday Wrestling, NWA Power, AEW Dark, and NXT. I can't wait to see what's going to happen since we're in the fallout. Now, if there's any other events I'm planning to put in, I will do that as soon as possible. There's still some I haven't, 5 that I need to get started with. Future Stars of Wrestling, Progress Wrestling, DDT Pro Wrestling, GLEAT, and a few others. So there's more I will be covering soon enough, but hopefully I can just do much as I can. I think that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.